Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Sonic the Hedgehog here, and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry Wario for able to make you yawn like that. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Let's Play of Wario World for the Nintendo GameCube. So, last time we have managed to able to get things started with Sparkle Land while going through the first level in that world, which appears to be the Mirror Mansion. In addition with, trying to explore through Mirror Mansion, we also beat the likes of the forms of Irimic, which I do apologize for his actual name, by the way, because I have no idea how on earth do I supposed to pronounce that particular boss. Beats me, but anyway. So, today for this episode, it's going to be, well, I would say for this point, this is going to be the longest video of this particular Let's Play, because today, we're about to be experiencing the final platforming level until the final two bosses until later on. And as you can see, we are now approaching onto the second level in Sparkle Land, which appears to be probably by far one of my least favorite stages in the whole entire game. And it's also the longest stages of the entire game as well, assuming if you really want to go after every single collectible. Like, for instance, if you really want to go after Spiritings, or especially noticeable with all the treasures, in addition with all these treasures, where there's also some red diamonds, and even especially noticeable, there is actually the forms of the golden pieces of the statues. So, yeah, it's gonna take a while, especially because of how the fact that, unlike in any other levels throughout the game, I think this particular stage is gonna be huge. I mean, literally bigger than you ever would have thought it was. But even then, we'll point things out whenever we get to it though, but even then, we'll just, just trying to focus on this first bonus room, as you can see right there. So naturally, we need to, it's very simple if you manage to get the hang of it though, by simply able to press that switch. And then as a result, we get ourselves the red diamonds. But that does not end off here, because I get a strong feeling that we might actually come across into ourselves the next Spiriting right down there. But the thing is, every time you ever get close to the actual ledge, that sometimes Wario always seems to able to actually grab on the ledge and all that stuff. So yeah, it's a bit of a nuisance, but at least we can able to actually try to accept the actual parts itself. Oh, I did not meant to use the ground pound, and there was actually a Spiriting right down there. Ah, jeez. And trust me when I say this, is that whenever we come across into most of those bonus rooms like this, there's going to be a lot of emphasis on trial and error situations, most notably because if you really want to go after every single collectible, sometimes I might as well easily fall off during most of our time. And then also in addition with that, yeah, you're going to be seeing me falling off most of the time. But it's not so bad on this bonus room in particular, but the ones later on coming up, it just always gets to me. So even then, because yeah, for the most part though, this is by far one of the, I mentioned this before already, this is the longest level in the whole entire game, and it's probably one of the hardest stages in the whole entire game, at least for some degree, probably due to the forms of the actual bonus rooms. So even then, although the actual level itself wasn't all that hard, to be honest with you, it's just the actual bonus rooms that gives us a lot of troublesome, which, then again, because we're actually approaching towards the end of the game, this means about the fact that most of the actual bonus rooms can get a lot more ridiculously harder, as to be expected from most other challengers out there, and not to mention with the forms of some specific, things that we might actually come across into. So, yeah, today's day is the forms of the 19th of November, in this case in 2019. So I think that Piglet has not even mentioned about this before already, and that was the fact that recently, yesterday, that specifically in the UK version's DVD release dates, is the fact that recently the Lion King remake has been released today on the UK for both DVD and Blu-ray versions, which I'll say that again for about past few days ago. We're probably not going to pick it up, because even then, at the end of the day, I get a strong feeling about the fact that with Disney live-action movies nowadays, is that it just starts to lose it's hard to explain about this sometimes, people, because even then, but at least I'll give Sonic the Hedgehog the movie some credit for. At least they did manage to fix Sonic's design. Like, I think I've already mentioned about this before, since in Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Let's Play so far, at least I did manage to claim some of the actual charm to it, like for instance the actual, expressions, that's how it feels like. And that's how it could be done for the likes of the live-action movies of the Disney films nowadays, because the problem with these things now is the fact that it loses any sort of charm compared to the original counterparts, which I will say, I can still able to actually watch the originals any day, because they have a lot more expressions, and also it's pretty fun to watch. Well, despite with the actual emotional scenes for, The Lion King when Mufasa dies and all that stuff, but, even then though, still, it just makes it a little bit more of a, optimistic choice with all this, questionable design choices where it comes to, like, the actual, well, they usually get, like, a ton of money for box office departments, which is, I don't understand why that the box office might actually raises up. I think most other people seem to enjoy these. Well, I still find Aladdin to be okay. I mean, not my kind of thing though, because, well, apart from the fact that, well, at the end of the day though, especially noticeable with all three of those live-action movies they have released in a row actually for the sake of this year, I would think that Aladdin might be the better of the three, but it might be still pretty mediocre at best. Well, the second in the middle will actually be The Lion King because, well, at the end of the day, ever since I managed to watch some of these clips again, I just cannot even believe I was actually disappointed by it. And of course, the bottom of the barrel, which is of course Dumbo live-action remake, because, well, it just ruins my nostalgia, like, it really does. Because I think we've already mentioned about this a couple of times from the past, and then as a result of this kinds of stuff like this, is that, well, I just cannot even believe they just get rid of the actual Timothy or Mouse character, which I think I've already gone enough about this for quite a long time now, ever since in March 2019 so far. Well, regardless of such though, is the fact that 2019 is almost over, and eventually at this point we might actually get ourselves a new live-action movie, which is, sadly to tell you, is of course is going to be Mulan live-action movie next, and as a result, well, I'm going to pass on it, because then again, well, the problem with live-action movies nowadays, as far as when the Disney companies goes, I mean, what the hell happened? I mean, at least even then, Frozen 2 might actually come out until 3 days' time at this rate. At least I'm damn looking forward to able to seeing that film. At least in that Frozen 2 might actually have expressions and all that stuff, which, that's the reason why I'm actually able to actually enjoy rewatching most of those original Disney films more. At least I'll give direct-to-DVD sequels for that matter, at least have some expressions to the table, but it's just that the actual quality, or even especially noticeable with the animation itself, feels a bit stiff in many areas, but at least I'll take them any day though, compared to the live-action movies though nowadays. But that I digress, but even then though, it's just that, well, I'm just gonna stop watching those live-action movies of Disney films because they are downright lazy, and it's like they're running out of ideas to able to actually think of something new, or in this case for this matter, they would try to desperately want to able to remake some of the scenes from the film, but none of them seem to connect to me at all, like, compared to the originals though. Like, for instance, for example, in, let's just say, in Aladdin, for instance, is that, you remember in the beginning part of the film, where basically, I think it's like a potato. I can't pronounce his name very well, I do apologize for that. In the beginning part of the film, after the actual Arabian Nights song, one of the narrators, specifically Pelador, which usually has like a, a actual camel at the beginning, and then basically he'll tell us the story of how the actual story began. That works very, very damn well on the forms of the original in 1992. And after that, then it'll just cut straight to the point with Jafar alongside with Iago and his trusted companion, which either way though, that works suitably well in the original. But for whatever reason, in the live-action version, they just simply just make it shorter and just cut straight to the point. And it's like, are you kidding me? Well, don't get me wrong, I still love Disney as a result of this matter though, it's just that I'm just go so sick of like they actually lose any of the charm compared to the forms of the originals this time around, which makes me sad. And even then, at least some people might find this really upsetting too. Which either way though, that makes it a little bit more of a obvious answer. So either way, let's just go ahead and get ourselves the golden piece of the statue. In fact, we haven't got that much of that golden statue pieces, kind of thing about it. Although, to be fair, this will be the final time collecting these things, as well as the treasures, and as well as, the spiritling, as I mentioned this before, and not to mention with the forms, the final time we're going to be able to grabbing most of those red diamonds. And again, like the forms of the Mirror Mansion level, is that we need to grab at least 6 diamonds, or 6 red diamonds I should say. If you really want to go for 100% like I was going to be doing to show you guys all of that stuff, well, more power to me, because even then though I've already 100%ed this at least once, so anyways, whoa, I need to grab that, thank you. Because I definitely need that, because after all, this is the longest level in the whole entire game. Then again, unless if you're trying to go after every single collectibles this throughout. But this is the final time we're going to be seeing the actual enemy endurance arena, because even then, I think this might be the only battle arena we're actually going to come across into, because after this, well, we are basically done with these sequences like this. So even then, because I think we actually come across into like, I don't know, maybe just once in, during some different parts of the actual thing. I wasn't 100% sure because I actually lost count of, some of the other, enemy arena matches and all that stuff. Because I know it's been quite a few days onto this, honestly, and because of this, though, as you can probably tell, that obviously this is uploaded today on Tuesday the 19th already, just because of how the fact that, similar to the forms of last week, where recently Piglet has actually recently finished up with Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz, and then as a result, you know how that particular Let's Play is being finished now, and then as a result, I feel like doing the same thing for Wario World, because after all, we're pretty much almost towards the end of this game right now, and as a result of this kind of stuff, though, I'm actually really looking forward to able to, not only coming back onto, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, / Mario Kart 8 with Sylvester in mind, and also eventually I might as well definitely need to come back into Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, because I definitely noticed that it's been about a whole month since I actually last touched upon that game. Hopefully I might as well come back into it at some point, I would say in December maybe, alongside with Super Mario Odyssey, where Mario definitely need to get back into that. In fact, he might actually do that in sometime in, I would say next Tuesday, roughly. I would say roughly because, well, if already depending on the forms of, Toy Story 2 recording sessions at this point in time, as well as the forms of, specifically me and Sylvester still continues with Mario Kart 8 / Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at this current point. So, don't worry guys, we'll definitely need to able to get these Let's Plays finished and over with and done with before, 2020 is going to able to get closer approach. So, hopefully start to be doing some more Let's Plays here and there. In addition with, of course, some more redo Let's Plays for the time. So even then, hopefully we can able to get a chance to do so. So, anyways, let's grab this, the glorious Wario Rock, so that we can able to actually unlock the next part, which is, of course, that particular bonus room just right down there, if eventually we might as well able to clip through it. And this is where the difficult parts may actually start to come in, so even then, we actually come across into this room. I failed so many times on my first time I've actually experienced this bonus level, because in this bonus room is that you have to do a ridiculous amount of timing. Like, basically, we need to grab onto the actual ledge of the platform, and then when you're able to let the platform decide to load down, then it's your chance to able to, bypass the actual spike balls from below. And you have to do that quick, by the way, because if you do it way too sooner or way too early to predict the actual jump, well, this is the, I think this might actually be the only, well, unless if you want to count for any other bonus rooms for that matter, specifically it takes place in the skies. Basically, whoa, why is my jump button not even react to in time? Oh, for goodness sake. Anyway, we'll try that again. Hopefully for better luck this time, so hopefully we could able to actually make it for this point, so Because, yeah, you see what I mean about the fact that this level might actually took forever to finish, because even then, that, again, if you really want to go after everything, like, you know, all sorts of collectibles here and there, well, good luck for that, because, well, unless if you do this normally, you will be okay with, but as far as I'm going to be showing you guys the 100% Let's Play of this game, specifically all the remaining collectibles, the only exception to this though is of course the actual Game Boy Advance cable link features, which is of course, you know, showing off the WarioWare incorporated the actual GBA game. So unfortunately, to tell you for this point, guys, I'm afraid I'm probably not going to show that off, because either way though, as I said this before, just because I don't have my Game Boy Advance cable link. So even then, that might be a little bit more obvious answer, because I could not record any of the footage for my Game Boy Advance SP, because that way the actual quality on that might be a little bit difficult to see, especially, well, unless if you really want to count the SP model, so that you can able to actually see the actual better, you know, better picture quality, but still, like back in the forms of 2001, that during the forms of when the Game Boy Advance was first released, the original model I should say, they did pretty much got themselves the actual lack of the actual backlight. So at least in a you know, SP version, which is my preferred version of playing the Game Boy Advance games, including the backwards compatibility games for the original Game Boy, as well as Game Boy Color and stuff like that. At least I can able to do it from here, but that's not the same. The actual I just don't know what I'm trying to say for this one right here. But, you know, you get the idea for that solution here, and, oh boy, that's what I think it is, with this particular strict timing right here, which, yeah, you have to deal with the actual, you know, the dash jump, as you can tell, but the problem with this is that every time you jump onto the cloud, and then you can able to actually just, yeah, it's a little bit, you know, more precise more than ever. So anyways, let's try and do it in a different angle. In fact, that's not to say that's... Okay, there we go. And that way we can able to actually move those spikes up and down, despite I just got hit one of them. And yeah, this is where it gets a lot more difficult now, because there's going to be a lot more hazards than the forms of how it does it in the forms of the past few, you know, the past few stages now. So even then, prepare for the ultimate challenge, folks, because there is going to be a lot more challenging parts to go through. So even then, I think that pretty much takes care of that particular room right now. So even then, though, let's go ahead and continue things on for this point. So yeah, there's not much else I can really just try to you know, discuss upon for this point, guys, because even then, we're actually getting pretty close towards the end of Wario World, basically, until hopefully we're might as well able to give Wario another chance, so that we can able to actually let him, you know, just get his games as in the actual Let's Play department. We're definitely gonna do the Wario Land games for sure, and same applies for well, not necessarily Wario Master of Disguise though, because I still find that game to be the weakest of the platforming Wario games, but to be more accurate, the most superior Wario Land games for sure. Although there is one noticeable exception to the Wario Land series, which is of course the Virtual Boy installments, because, well, for one thing, the Virtual Boy is like sells so poorly. And second, I have no access to the actual Virtual Boy emulator. What I do definitely notice still is the fact that Wario Land for the Virtual Boy was actually the best game of the actual the Virtual Boy games in the lineup, which I will say, it's very impressive though. I really wish if that will be deserved the actual remake of it at some point, but then again, we're pretty much limited with the actual news and stuff, unfortunately, just like the ones and how it does in 2018. In fact, it's kind of thing about it, because much like the forms of last year, at this point in time is the fact that we're probably not going to get the next Nintendo Direct and during, let's just say, at the beginning portion of 2020 at some time. And once again, just like in 2018, it always stops in the forms of at the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate stuff, which I don't mind at all, but it's just that, well, I just want to see what's next when it comes to 2020, aside from more, you know, development titles such as the forms of Metroid Prime 4 that we still have not heard of, apart from the fact that the actual Retro Studios might actually have to restart the actual software development, and Also, same applies for Bayonetta 3, and heck, even with the forms of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel, which hopefully we'll might as well get a chance to get one of those at some point at the Game of the Year Awards and during next month. So, at least even then, we could at least expect that. But it's just that, well, I'm just, I just feel so impatient, that's why, because even then, I'm just... You know how I look like, because I'm Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm always being so impatient. I know Mario is not so impatient, because even then, though, that he's always like, chill out for a bit. But as for me, since I'm the fastest hedgehog alive, then, you know how I'm feeling very impatient. Like, I don't like waiting around. Like, at least even then, that's what my personality or my altitude might actually decide to come in. But anyway... So enough about that specific matter though, because as you can tell from the actual footage, as you can see right there, I'm going to be spending bumpering around in the forms of this stage itself, because again, this stage can be ridiculously long, especially because, again, if you really want to go after any sort of collectibles, such as, well, all these collectibles, like I mentioned this before, red diamonds and all that stuff. Holy Christ, man, it took me a lot of time to able to memorize everything about it. And speaking of such, here we go with this next puzzle right here. Now, the golden statue piece is not that hard, but when we get to the red diamond, though, oh man, it took me a long time to figure it out whenever first time I played this, though. And in fact, since I managed to know what I'm gonna do right here, not only does it able to give me the good opportunity that we could able to, hopefully, God forbid, trying to make a leaps of faith to trying to grab, the red diamond of all things. Although, then again, because we do need to grab 6 of them. Oh no! I was expecting I could grab the ledge, but apparently, though, I just simply let go by accident. So, yeah, that seems kind of pointless to me. Hey. Things just manage to happen these days for this point, guys. It really starts to get a little bit tougher and difficult at this point. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and... There we go. That's more like it. In fact, every now and then, though, at least I know what I'm going to do for this point right there. Especially if you're trying to solve this puzzle out. And it looks like we actually got about 2 more red diamonds specifically left, which I did not meant to fall off right down there, because obviously this will be the last time we're going to be seeing the underground sections, as you can see right there, because we're actually approaching towards the end of this game basically. So even then, there's not much else to say. Of course, there's no need to worry about the forms of the coin system, like I sort of noticing that before, because we actually reached about like 12,000 coins or more. Just because, this game is super generous when it comes to giving you a lot of coins, like I stated before. But, you get the idea for that point. Oh, where's the darn escape spring? Where is it? Okay, so it's not here. Or is it maybe just up here? Ah, there it is. Oh, no. Okay, at least I lose some of my coins, but whatever. At least I've got my full health, though. At least it really does matter to me. So, you can also manage to able to use this little bird thing right here, which if you do punch it, well, basically, the actual wind might actually carry you into upwards throughout the level. But the only awkward thing about this is that, well, every time when I was hopefully trying to able to tilt my control stick or something like that, well, sometimes it just gives me the opportunities to go in the opposite direction instead of the usual direction like I was going to go to, which even then it sounds a little bit awkward, but still. So anyways, let's see what's in this beyond on that switch, which appears to be, I think this will be the last treasure switch to activate, because even then though, since then, we can hopefully, God forbid, trying to able to get ourselves, well, every single treasure in this level offers. So even now we can able to accept that, so... I know it sounds a little bit more, well, tiresome to see this, but even then, though, it's just that, don't worry, folks, we actually gone towards the end of this game now, so even then, hopefully we don't come across into a lot of, like, pacing issues, at least assuming if I need to figure out the actual specific locations. Oh, it looks like I'm gonna have to go over there, because obviously there's a next, spirit link here, and of course, I think we actually got about one more, spirit link left, which appears to be on that one specific bonus room, which I'll probably should point things out whenever we get to it one day. But even then, I won't consider that to be the hardest bonus room in the whole entire game in the world. But you know, we'll find out whenever we get to it at some point. So anyways, let's go ahead and just, you know, keep on doing like a dash jump kind of technique, as you can tell, and hopefully we'll find the actual specific bonus door that we can hopefully try to find it. Although first of all, let me just take care of these exactly the same flying type enemies for sure. But even then, as you can tell, I just wasted my health a little bit. Just because, you know, they actually now spawned in the forms of the actual spike balls and all that stuff. So, I guess there's not much else in here, though. So, this seems kind of pointless to check in there. But regardless, I think there might be something as usually over there. So, yep, this is definitely one of those bonus rooms I need to get to. And there's the uniquest enemy in this world, on this stage specifically. That's the forms of those jellyfish. In order to actually deal the damage on these jellyfish, you can simply just use your ground pound, and that's all you really have to do. So anyways, let's go and dive right in, and let's see how this world plays out. Oh my lord, this place is huge. And whenever I mastered the first time I experiencing this bonus room, oh man, it took me a lot of tries to be able to figure it out. But if you pay attention to the actual footage right now, you can definitely tell what the actual method I'm going to be going to. And easily this is by far the longest bonus room in the whole entire game. Not only because it's huge or anything, but if you really want to double your play time, specifically if you really want to go after the red diamonds like I mentioned this before, as well as the final spirit link in the whole entire game potentially, because yes, in this bonus room right here, this will actually hold up the final spirit link in the whole entire game. So naturally there are about 40 of them, so even then if you really want to go for, well, I'll explain more on that until later, but for now, we're not going to mention about that too much though, because even then we'll just have to, you know, God forbid, trying to concentrate on this specific bonus room. But if you mess up one jump, or even especially noticeable if you accidentally fall off, well, you need to start all over from the beginning. So even then, think of like how it does it on the Super Mario Sunshine secret courses. Well, except the fact that there was no extra lives to be seen. Well, apart from your health, of course. But then again, you don't lose a health every time you fall off, so it's just a matter of like the actual respawning point. So, but you know, you get the idea. So, oh boy, I'm actually kind of nervous right here because I really want to be able to get the actual collectibles, as you can probably see. But anyways, let's make our leaps of faith here and get ourselves the next piece of garlic, so that we can able to get ourselves our full health right now, and hopefully everything else will comes together. So, you know, you get the idea for that point. So, I believe if you go on to the left, well, I would short you, it might actually lead us to a dead end. But unless there's actually a shortcut we can take, but I'd rather not recommend doing that, because otherwise you would able to actually mess up with your jumps, and also if you use your you know, dash jump or something like that, well, basically you won't able to get a chance to reach from here. So, and plus because you can't able to change directions in midair, you know, kind of like how it did when Sonic 06 came around in the Mark Speed sections. In fact, kind of think about it, speaking of Sonic 06 actually, is the fact that in Sonic 06, from the PC specifically, think they actually did manage to recently managed to recreate that game on the PC version specifically, called Sonic P06, in this case Project 06, and basically what that mod can do, basically it actually fixes everything, how the original versions actually has its own issues. But anyways, we've rescued the final spirit link, so even then though, we actually gathered all 40 of them, so naturally speaking, that we are done with the spirit links. So even then though, it's only the matter of the forms of the red diamond, as well as the forms of, well, what else? A whole bunch of treasures. So, well, let's just say only 2 treasures left. But anyways, let's drop down here to get ourselves the next red diamond round here. And I think we actually got about one more, you know, golden Franklin statue piece, as well as the forms of the red diamond. So, oh boy, we're actually almost nearly towards the end of this stage basically now. So even then, hopefully that stage won't usually just drag on, but hopefully we can able to actually cope with it. But anyways, let's go ahead and go up here. And yeah, just like the forms of how it does it in, you know, Beanstalk ways, the fact that we need to use these guys so that way we can able to create these platforms again. And except this time, it's like a actual blade of any sorts. Although, annoyingly thing about these guys is that like the forms of how it does it on these little monstrous magnetics enemies, is that sometimes they always get close to each other, and as a result of this kinds of stuff, well, basically you're probably guaranteed to able to actually just get stuck, basically. Excuse me, I just ate some chili dogs again. So anyways, as you can see, we actually come across into this final unique enemy, specifically in this world, or this level, as you can see right there. The only time you can only deal with this guy, though, is the fact that we need to take down, you know, with these little green lights, these are actually represents the actual weak spots, and every time you're able to attack one of them, or in this case, you have to deal with all three of them, I should say, and that way you would able to actually kill this little enemy right here. So, yeah, it's not much of a challenge though, at least I'll admit it though right away. And as you can tell, the actual music has actually got a little bit more quieter than before. And look at that, Nintendo GameCube, the actual game system that this game actually represents for, which is very cool. And this is the final treasure in the game, so naturally we got all the treasures in the game. So, not bad, not too shabby either, so even then though, we are basically done with the treasures as well. So, the only thing is matters now is, of course, the final two collectibles between, you know, the final golden piece of the statue, as well as the final red diamond. So, hopefully we can find those two before we're able to conclude Pecan Sands, which I don't think I've even mentioned about this in the very beginning of this video, honestly, because, you know, I just keep on ranting about the forms of the actual live-action movies for Disney films, which I think I've already established that since the very beginning of this video, so I will admit though right away, I do apologize for that delay. So anyways, the actual level itself is basically, it's called Pecan Sands, which even then though it takes place in the desert, so even then though that it has like tons of sand, and also we come across into those scorpions as you can see right there, which I will admit though right away is that these scorpions are not as easy to deal with, I will admit though, because, well, for one thing, they always hide in the actual stands themselves, and second, well, every time when I was trying to get into the actual bonus room, when I was trying to hold up this scorpion enemy, I swear to God, every time I was trying to entering those specific rooms, it just really trying to able to work on me, but as a result of this kinds of stuff, at least I know what I'm doing, especially I need to aim it like exact middle, in between these little steel doors kind of thing about it. In fact, speaking of the actual bonus rooms right away right now, we'll point things out whenever we do manage to find one of them potentially, because even then, out of all the actual bonus rooms that our mods are able to actually find out, I think the last one in particular will be the hardest of the actual bonus rooms. Well, not so much for this one, potentially, ironically I know, and also for this enemy right there, for that sinking sand hole as you saw, that was actually the exact same enemy as you normally faced ever since the actual, the second boss in, World 1, which is kind of, weird, but it's also because it's kind of cool at the same time, unless if you're really trying to able to beat him up, or just simply ignore him by the sake of the forms of likely just trying to, you know, avoid a lot of hazards and all that stuff. So even then though, for me, I'm just gonna skip over him because I think he might actually plays out exactly like how he did ever since during the very beginning of the game, as in the second boss in the game. So let's not, you know, worried about this for this part. So even then though, let's just go ahead and find ourselves the escape spring, while at the same time getting caught by these very weird looking enemies as you can tell. And also as a result, we keep losing some of the coins, which coins doesn't really matter though, I will admit though, unless if you really want to use the actual garlic dispenser, which I think that's what the name of that particular cash point is supposed to be. But anyways, where in the world is the actual escape spring? Tell me game, where is it? There we go. It's always on the last box, I have not checked yet. Oh jeez. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue things on, and hopefully we still need to keep searching for the final bonus area in this entire game, so hopefully we'll get good chance of finding it though, but then again, it will take you a lot of time to able to actually figure out where in the world it is. So, and speaking of such, there it is right here. So hopefully we can able to deal with all that. So let's go ahead and use one of those Wario head statues yet again. So hopefully we can able to break through. And oh, that was a really bad first attempt. You could also just manage to able to actually grab some spare ones, or just use the jellyfish enemies, which you know, it might be simple. So anyway, second attempt. Are you serious? Jeez. Come on. But anyways, let's go ahead and try this for the third time in a row. But even then, then again, if you use the Wario stones like this, even with the Wario stone heads, it's always super difficult. There we go. Third time's the charm. And here we go, folks. The final bonus area in the whole entire game, and easily one of the hardest of the actual bonus obstacle platform areas. Because as you can see, we actually come across into those rotating platforms. In addition, with those rotating platforms, there is spike balls to top it off. And, you know, if you made one wrong move, well, chances are you need to restart everything on that specific obstacle again. As long as you pay attention to the actual, the obstacle itself, you will be okay. But then again, the only difficult part about this is the spike balls themselves. Because then again, if you somehow manage to get hit by specifically those spiked balls, like I'm almost gonna get hit one right there, and then I might as well able to get hit by the next one, yep, then soon after, that warrior might actually hop a little bit until he just managed to able to, well, stop hopping around and all that stuff, which even then, if you made one wrong move, well, basically you have to go all the way back again, and you will might as well die a lot of times if you manage to keep on losing your health and all that stuff, and also you might as well keep on falling off like nothing else on this particular bonus room, and it still is one of the, I would say this is the hardest of the actual bonus levels. So these don't take the biggest one any day, despite the forms of the fact that how big it is. And plus, I don't think there aren't any too much hazards on that particular bonus level as far as I'm aware. But this one in particular will give a lot of people trouble with, because even then again, if you get hit by any of these spike balls at least once, well, basically you have to go all the way back from the start. So yeah, it's kind of a nuisance though, honestly. But luckily though, for you guys out there, this is the last bonus room we're going to be showing off. And because of this, over there in the distance, not only do we get ourselves the final red diamond in the whole game, but also the final golden piece of the statue throughout. So hopefully we'll have to wait until when we get closer to it. And there we go. And also, we are basically done with every single bonus rooms now. So now we need to focusing on the next boss at this point right now. So even then, Pecan Sands is concluded. Thank God. Oh wait, you have no idea how much long that I spend most of my time on this level. In fact, it actually took me, I can't stress that enough, it will probably took me about more than 40 minutes just to able to complete that darn stage. Well, that's not to say this stage is bad, it's just that that was actually probably one of the weakest aspects of the stage for me, because, well, if you really want to go after everything, like I said before, well, you need to do the ridiculous amount of backtracking, you know? And as a result, well, you might get confused a little bit. And plus, if you really want to try to able to go through the hardest bonus sections throughout, well, good luck, because otherwise you'll lose a whole bunch of health every time you run into those spike balls, potentially. Although getting to the actual top of the pyramid wasn't all that hard, at least especially because of the fact that the actual boss room is actually inside the actual pyramid itself. So relatively speaking, everything else will be checked out from here. So even then, we'll just have to able to actually just accept the actual patience. So anyway, so let's go ahead and use these guys for the final time, just to use them as platforms. Although sometimes the actual electrical currents or the actual electrical projectile ball attack is actually very annoying to able to avoid, I will admit though. But hopefully though, we're actually getting pretty close, and screw you. Anyways, before we take on the forms of the next boss, and basically I need to restore my health completely by simply eating some more garlic, believe it or not. And you know, this will be the last time to see the actual garlic dispenser, because after this though, we're not going to see the garlic dispenser ever again in this entire game. So naturally speaking, we now made it to the top of the actual pyramid. And hopefully all 6 of those red diamonds will be in place. And let's dive right into the next boss. And it appears to be some sort takes place in a 9 squared grid kind of arena. And it appears to be, we actually, believe it or not, we come across into, you know, the next boss, as I said before. And this guy was actually known as Iron Cider, which basically, in order to actually deal the damage on Iron Cider, is that, you know, he actually got himself his hands, or in this case, magical hands, I should say. In order to deal the damage on Iron Cider is the fact that we need to do a spin attack on him, because if you somehow manage to try to do ground pound, I don't think it will able to work. So at least even then, or at least I might as well able to actually accept that. At least the entire boss fight was actually a little bit easier in comparison to the actual level itself. But even then, that you have to, like, you know, grab your hand, or in this case, any kind of hand for that matter, and make sure you have to jump as soon as he's trying to able to create a shockwave attack every time when he's go to one square to another. It kind of reminds me like a chessboard somehow, but just with less grids or anything like that, because, you know, they are naturally about like 9 square for that grid, so or 9 squares. I might as well have to say that right now. But anyways, though, at least even then, the entire boss fight is not that hard. Although the only time it's like pretty tricky to deal with, and that is of course the actual flamethrower attack that he's trying to able to constantly going to be using. But apart from those side of things, though, it's actually not that much of a challenge to me, though. And regardless, we are done with the forms of Pecan, you know, Pecan Sands. Thank the Lord. Unless if I was trying to replay that stage again, though, unless, well, I'm not going to do a speed run on this or anything like that. I'm just trying to able to, you know, do this for the sake of Let's Play and all that stuff. So, anyways, though, let's go ahead and leave this particular level. And you notice with the walking animation right there, if you couldn't tell already, this runs on 50 Hz mode, because on the 60 Hz mode, if you those who lived in North America, Wario will actually just say like, yeah, alright, and cut, you know, quickly cut straight to the point and shown, you know, the golden statues being fixed, and as well as the actual doors being accessed to, but you know. So yeah, I'm gonna have to end things off at this point right there, guys. So join me next time on Let's Play Wario World. Is the fact that we're actually gonna be taking on not 1, but 2 boss fights during next time. So see you then. Later, fellas.